Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be the next episode of the series we started last video. The question we're going to be solving today is a quite common question in every school's curriculum. It is centered around the grading system. So let's start by reading the question. 10 students write a test. The marks are out of 10. All marks are entered in an external file, marks.txt. Write a program which will read all 10 marks from the file and find and display the average mark. If the pass mark for the test in question 1 is 5 out of 10, write a program to find out how many students pass the test. Okay, now we're in VS Code. I created a file, a Fortran file. I named it class marks. I created a marks.txt file which will contain the marks of the 10 students that wrote the test. Okay, let's start by naming our program. I'm going to give our program a, let me see, grading system. Let me just put grading system there. Okay, I'm going to put a link in the description box, or I'm going to place a card where you can watch the basic syntax of the video of Fortran if you don't understand what this implicit none means. Yeah, so let's go back to our drawing board. These are the marks of the students, and the way I want us to treat the set of numbers is to treat it as an array or a list. It's called list in Python. So let's go back to our Fortran file. Let me type in declare an array. To declare an array, we need two attributes. The first attribute is the data type, and the second attribute is the size of the array. And to do that, we are going to type in integer, which is integer, which is the data type, Then the second one is dimension. Second one is dimension. Dimension is an attribute that tells Fortran that, okay, this is the size of our array, like how many variables are we putting into an array, and number of marks we're putting into an array is, we're putting 10 marks there for 10 students here. So let's decline that there. Then the name of the array, I want to say marks by students. Marks by students. Next thing we have to do is to open the file. You need to open the file, marks.txt file. Let me just put that, marks.txt file. And to open the file, we going to use the keyword open. Then we have to place in a number. We have to put in a number to tell Fortran that, okay, this is the file I want to open. Then I think we'll put the file name as marks.txt. Make sure your marks.txt file is in the same folder as your Fortran file. If your marks.txt file is not in the same folder as your Fortran file, you have to name or define the path to the marks.txt file. So the file is open now. Let me go back to our question and read it. The marks are out of 10. All marks are entered in external file, which we have done. Write a program that will read all 10 marks from the file and find and display the average mark. So the next thing we're going to do is to read the numbers in the file. To read the marks.txt file, we are going to input a keyword read, then drop in the number we used to specify our marks.txt, which is 1. Then yeah, then placing a star there as nothing. Then we're reading it into a variable. We're reading it into a variable. What variable do we want it? We're reading it into an array rather, and we already declared the array here. So let's just put the marks by students here. So if you want to call the marks of text, like the variables in the marks of text, we're going to call it by we're going to refer it by using the marks by the students. Yeah, make sure you leave your complaints in the comment section below so that I can revisit them in subsequent videos. So the next thing we're going to do is to let's print out the marks by students. Let's see what we will get. Let's print it out and see whether it's working. Save it and run it. Yes, we have 10 numbers here already. Same thing with what we have in our marks.txt. So you can confirm that the array is working and we are good to go. So the next part of the question is to display the average marks. So no, we didn't answer the first question. Is to read all 10 marks. Okay, we read it here already. Let's create a comment there. That's reading the external file. Calculate the average marks by the student, and formula for calculating average is equals to the total number of marks over the number of marks. So we're going to have to calculate the summation of all the marks in the array, then divide it by the number of marks that we have in the array. So let's to calculate the average marks. To calculate the average marks, I'm going to put in a comment that okay, average is equals to total divided by number of marks. So let's write that out. We're going to declare another variable. The variable is going to be a real number, because we can get something like 4 point something as the average. So let's declare average. Let's say average mark. Yes. Okay. Let's start by calculating the total. I'm going to create another variable which is an integer. I'm going to call it total. Also going to calculate the number of students as okay, let me just clean this up. Total and number of marks, of items rather, number of items. So to calculate the total, we're going to equate that to the sum. We're going to use a predefined function in Fortran, which is sum, to calculate to find the summation of all items in that array. So we're going to input the array, and to calculate the number of items in an array, we're going to do that by using size. Is also a predefined function, size, and we're going to say marks by students. So let's print both of them out to see what we will get. print out the total. Then we're going to print out the number of items. So let's see what we get. Let's run the program. Okay, so the total number is the summation of all the marks in the array is 50, and the number of items in the array is 10, which is correct. So to calculate the average, let me bring this here. X. To calculate the average, we're going to say average mark, which you already defined up here as a real number. Average mark is equals to total divided by number of items. So let's print out the average mark and see what we get. We are expected to get 5, because 50 divided by 10 is 5. Yeah. Wow, we got 5. So that's the average mark of the marks, the numbers, the marks of the students, marks of the 10 students who wrote the test. The second question is, if the pass mark for the test in question 1 is 5 out of 10, write a program to find out how many students passed the test. Okay, the pass mark is 5, is equals to 5. That means anything below 5 is a fail, lesser than 5. Let's say X is lesser than 5. Pass is X is greater than 5. So anything above 5 is a pass, anything below 5 is a fail. And to do that, we're going to have to loop through this array. I talked about loops and nested loops in the last video. So if you do not understand what loops are, please check the last video. I'm going to leave a link in the description box, so just check it out. So to loop through this array, we're going to use a do loop, which we used in previous video. We're going to use a do loop, and I talked about everything I'm doing right now in the last video as well. So we're going to define I is the one going to run through the array and pick the values one by one after every loop, after every iteration. It's going to pick it. We're going to start from 0. We're going to start from 1, then end at the number of items in the array. To answer the question number 2, we have to create something called a conditional statement. A conditional statement, when I talk about conditional statements, I'm talking about if, I'm talking about else, I'm talking about else if, and yes, I'm talking about if, else, and else if. So what we want to do is we're going to run through this array, then tell the computer or the compiler that, okay, if I is 5, check if I or X is greater than 5. If it is greater than 5, assign it a pass mark. If it is lesser than 5, assign it a fail mark. Like for instance, I will come to 5 first before it goes to 10. It will run from the first variable in the array to the last variable in the array, like we made the settings in the Fortran file, which is number of items, which is 10. When I comes to 5, I will go into our conditional statement and check if X is greater than 5 or if X is lesser than 5. If X is greater than 5, it is going to assign it a pass mark. Else, it is going to assign it a fail mark. I think when I write the code, we'll be able to understand better. So we're going to create a conditional statement, which is a if condition, and we're going to put the condition inside here. Like you saw, it's made it had an highlight of condition in it. So we're going to name what's our array name, then put I into it. So what this does is we're running through the array, like I said in our illustration, that we're going to run through this array like we're looping through every variable in the array. So that's what this does. If mark by student I is greater than 5, if max I is greater than 5, then what are we going to do? We're going to print pass. Then in this condition, inside this if loop, we're going to also put an else. Say else if it is not greater than 5. That means we're going to okay, it's greater than or equals to 5, because they said the pass mark is 5. Pass mark is 5 out of 10. It's greater than or equals to 5. Print pass. Else, that means if it's not greater than 5 or greater than or equals to 5, I'm going to print a fail. Let's print fail. Let's save that and run that and see what we get. Yes, we can see that we have pass, fail, pass, fail, pass. But I want us to print the number as we're printing the pass and the fail out. So to do that, we're going to say, okay, marks student, say I. We're going to print out the number, then say whether it's pass or not. Let me copy this as well, put it here. And let's run it again. Yes, we can see that 5 was passed, 10 was passed, 4 was fail, 3 was fail, 7 was passed, 8 was passed, 1 was fail, 0 was fail, 7 was passed, and 5 was passed. Yes, that's the result we'll get at the end, and that's the last question, right? Yes, that's the last question. That's number 2 question. So let me uncomment this out to print the average mark of the students out as well. Print, let's say the average mark of the students let's print out the average mark. Now let's run that and see what we get. And we can see the average mark of the students is 5, and we can see the grading system that we did after it. Let me place a demarcation here to make the result clean. I'll run that. Yes, the average mark of the students is 5, which answers the first question. And for the grading system, which was the second question, that said if the mark of a student is greater than or equal to 5, we should assign a pass to the student, else we should assign a fail to the student. So that comes, okay, so that's the end of the video. I know this particular problem can be quite difficult for new learners who are quite new to the language and the Fortran language. So let me know what your challenges are in the comment section below. I will be very happy to respond to you guys. And yeah, Thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Bye.